Hi everybody, I'm Zilla Blitz and welcome to our playthrough of Raiders of the Deep, designed by Ian Cooper and published by Compass Games. In this series of videos, we're going to take charge of a German U-boat in August of 1914 and lead it on a number of patrols until we either reach the end of the war and survive, or until our lives and crew are lost in combat. Each video will be one patrol, which means the series could be anywhere from one video long to perhaps a couple of dozen. The fates, to a certain degree, are in charge of its destiny. In this first video, we're going to get assigned to a U-boat and then a flotilla. We'll take a look at our crew, take a look at some of the tweaks I've added to the game, and then we're going to go out on our first patrol. Lots to do. Let's get started. So welcome everybody. World War I has just started and it's August of 1914. We have three things to do before we can get our first U-boat out on a patrol. So first up, we're going to take care of organizing our commander and our crew. Then we're going to shift in and get a U-boat assigned to us and we're going to outfit it for combat. Then we're going to get assigned to a flotilla, which is going to put us in a certain harbor, which is going to allow us then to deploy to whichever field, whichever theater we're going to be involved in our World War I U-boat operations. So let's take, and then we'll go on our first patrol. So let's take all these three things in order. First, let's start with our commander and our crew. Now, what we're looking at right now is a picture of me. I'll be the captain here, the commander of the U-boat. This is me a couple of years ago when I was a little bit younger. And this actually is a fan-made player aid by T. Sadek 1977, who uploaded this to Board Game Geek, and I really liked it because it gives a little bit more of a visual representation for the commander's medals here. So this is where all our medals will go if and as we earn them down here. And then this is a place where we're going to keep track of the crew's status, and we'll talk a little bit about that momentarily. But the first thing we want to do is to give us, the captain here, the commander, a name. Now I'm going to use my last name here, which is Blitz, but there is a name generation feature in the game, so let's take a look at that. So one of the cool features in this game is that it allows you to generate a German commander name. We're going to keep the last name Blitz. We're going to add von in front of it, and then we're just going to use this first name part of it. But we could use the last name and things like that. So we have to roll on this. We'll use the black die for the first digit, the white die for the second digit, and we get a 31. Oh, that's exactly the one I was hoping for. We're off to a good start. We are hereby Fritz von Blitz. How cool is that? So Fritz von Blitz will be our commander's name here of the U-boat. And so we've taken care of that. And now the next thing we want to do is talk about our crew up here. This is where we keep track of our various crew members and then our officers' kind of advancement. So we're going to designate a rank for us momentarily, but we have a crew rank as well, and our general crew rank, we can take care of that now. It starts out as trained. As we perform admirably on various patrols, we might see this go up to higher rankings, veteran and then elite level, kind of expert level. We also have 4 officers that are assigned to this U-boat, and these 4 officers come from Patreon members who have volunteered for duty. Our first watch officer is Scott Von Williams. Our second watch officer is a very shortly named Al. Our engineer is DM Tim. And then our doctor is Mark von Nelms. Now, should any of these 4 officers fall in the line of duty, we have 3 members ready to take their place. Dave von Roy, Marcus, and then Hissy von Kat. In that order, we'll fill in their shoes should any of one of these fall in the line of duty. Also, we could see some of them get promoted and get their own U-boat at some point in time too. So that's how we'll follow them. Thank you everybody who volunteered from the Patreon, and we are on board now. So we've got our crew, we've got our commander's name. The next thing we want to do here is to get our commander's rank. To get our commander's rank, we have to go to section 11.22 of the manual, and we're going to roll 1 die to determine what our starting rank is here. We get a 5, which is actually the highest we could get. This is very good. Kapitänleutnant. That's most excellent. So we'll drop Kapitänleutnant in here, which is actually the 3rd of the 4th rank. So we only have 1 advancement that we could get. This does give us a benefit. We're off to a good start here with the name Fritz and then this highest level starting rank. But we do get to this will actually help us if we want to change the location of a flotilla. We might be able to do that at some point in time. Other than that, no specific benefits for this rank, but it's nice to get up out of those beginning ranks at the start here. So excellent start for Fritz von Blitz to the start of this campaign. Oh, I almost forgot. The game also comes with this German pre- and post-war career charts. And so you just make a roll on a 1d20 to give your commander a little bit of backstory of what happened to him before the war started. So we're going to roll a 1d20 to determine the paragraph here for our starting backstory. And we get an 18, which takes us all the way down to the bottom here. And 18 gives us a pretty interesting backstory. Born on the 13th of February, 1882. So we are 32 years old now then as the war starts here. I entered the Kaiserliche Marine in 1901 as a sea cadet, a lowly sea cadet. And then in June 1914, so just a couple of months ago, I received the Rettungsmedaille, which is some kind of a medal that doesn't have any bearing on the game. But I must say, Fritz von Blitz is off to a pretty stellar start. Before the war even starts, he's risen up as a sea cadet to be the commander of a U-boat. This is an epic story perhaps in the making. I'm excited. Now that we've got our commander and got our commander's rank, name, and we've got our crew all sorted out and our officers sorted out, it's time for us now to get a U-boat. Now, you could do this randomly and have a random starting date, but we're actually going to pick the very beginning of the war, August 1914, and we're going to use this little chart here to see whether we get a U-5 U-boat or a U-19 U-boat. On a 2 to 7, we get a U-5. Anything else, we get a U-9. We're rolling 2 dice and adding them up. A U-19 would be better. So we're hoping for an 8 to 12. We get a 5. So we get a U-5. That's not as good, doesn't have as good a deck gun, which does actually matter in some of the surface engagements that we might have. But the nice thing about a U-5 is that if we can make it about halfway through the war, we can get assigned a new U-boat, but that's getting way ahead of ourselves. So let's go take a look at our U-boat now, and specifically, we got to get a U-boat number. So we're going to use this other chart here, which is between August 14th, we're going to roll 1d10, looking on this chart to see what U-boat we get. It's going to be anything from U-5 to U-18. We roll and get a 3. A 3 is U-9. And the red designation here also tells us what flotilla we get. So the red designation is 1 flotilla, and it is in August of 1914, we get assigned to Wilhelmshaven. And that will be our home base, and we can see that our patrols only will be around the British Isles. That's going to be our patrol zone. Let's take a look at our patrol zones here geographically on the map. And this, by the way, is the second fan-made player aid that I've added to the game. This was created by Aranubis. These are some campaign maps that he or she put up on Board Game Geek, and I really like this because it gives us a little bit more of a geographic representation of where we'll be patrolling. And we can see here that our patrol zone is up in the British Isles, and our port is right here. So we're going to drop our Type U-5 U-boat right in port, and we're going to be doing missions up in here in the British Isles. Now, 1 flotilla is only going to do missions in the British Isles, but a quick aside for people that might be considering or playing the game, the designer mentions that where you have your patrol to a large degree determines the difficulty and challenge of the game. For example, the Mediterranean is a very target-rich environment and there's very little danger. The English Channel, on the other hand, is very dangerous and has some targets, but it can be very short existence in the English Channel. Some of these other areas, for example, aren't really target-rich and they can be hard to find targets and stuff like that. The designer himself mentions that the British Isles is probably that sweet spot between danger and reward. So I kind of wanted to make sure that we ended up in here. And if you do start in August 1914, that's the only place the flotillas are originally operating in the war. So that's a good way for us to ensure that we're going to be in the British Isles here and operating in the British Isles. So we have our U-boat. U-5 is now in Wilhelmshaven, and this is our patrol zone. Let's go now outfit our U-boat and get it ready for war. So here's a look at our U-5 U-boat. A lot of information. We'll kind of walk through this real quickly here. These top boxes up here, we're actually keeping track of on that player, the fan-made one with the commander of the boat on it. So rank and medals and rewards and crew qualities and random event we're going to keep track of. Well, the random event we'll track here, but the other ones we're keeping track of on that other player aid. But the first thing we want to handle then here, we have our forward torpedo tubes, our aft torpedo tubes, and then forward reloads. There are no aft reloads, and this U5 here can only hold 6 torpedoes. So it's a very World War I-esque beginner U-boat here that doesn't really have a tremendous punch with its torpedoes. It does designate what loadout we have here too. We have 3 different types of torpedoes available for this U5. 2 are C-35/91s, 2 are C/06s, and 2 are G6s. So our first decision is how we want to load out the torpedoes on the U-boat. The G6s are the best ones, so we're actually going to put those up in the forward torpedo tubes. They have the most likelihood to hit at medium range and distance range, and the other torpedoes don't have the greatest range. The second best torpedoes, I think, are these C06s, and we're going to actually put those in for the forward reloads so that we can reload with the second best torpedoes. And then in our aft torpedoes, we're going to put in the C-35/91s, which have a higher dud rate and really only are good at close range. But so we're going to load those up in the aft tubes. So we're taken care of then with our torpedo loadouts. The next thing we want to do is to load our deck gun ammo. It is unlimited ammo in this game, but you do put in these 2 ammo markers here because you can fire 2 at a time. And as we mentioned, this 3.7 centimeter deck gun is pretty wimpy. It's actually going to hinder us a lot early in the game when we're trying to intimidate freighters and stuff like that. But we'll make do with what we can. Then as going through this, we can see this is where we keep track of any damage that might occur to the hull or any flooding that might occur. And then down here on the right side, we track damage to individual components on the U-boat, things like the engines, the periscope, the wireless, the batteries, dive planes, etc. And then down here, we have the crew status upgrades, some of which we're tracking on that other player aid. But if we do have an agent on board or things like that, we'll keep track of them down here. So that is U5, and U5 is now armed for war. We probably need a nickname for U5, by the way, so if you have an idea, drop it down in the comment down below. We should have a designation for our nickname for our ship here. So segment 2, 1, and 2, and 3 are all taken care of. We've got our crew ready, we've got our commander ready, we've got our U-boat ready, and we've got our flotilla and our patrol zone designated. We are ready to go to war. I'm very sorry for the bait and switch, but we started recording the first patrol and it turned out to be quite long. So rather than make this episode much too long for a first episode, we are going to end this one here and call it the preparations episode, episode 0. We'll be back shortly with episode 1, our first patrol of the U9. And we're taking recommendations for nicknames for the U9 as well. We'll see you in our first patrol shortly. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll be at war soon.